Islam Makhachev, Carlos Prates, Michael Morales, and Justin Gaethje were stranded together at the airport after sharing the same flight.
Carlos Prates team and Islam Makhachev team in the same plane. This is no... They decline our flights for tomorrow morning. And Gaethje over there. I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't fly in the same airlines. I don't know.
Islam Makhachev responded to Max Holloway. Holloway had commented on Makhachev's UFC 330 celebration. Holloway reportedly took issue with Makhachev celebrating with 2 belts after defeating Ian Machado Garry.
He has 2 belts. Aura. I mean, like, it is what it is, bro. I mean, like, you are, but you're not. That was temporary, but now you're just defending 1 belt, bro. Why you keep... I don't know, guys.
Islam Makhachev responded, I don't know, bro. It's even too heavy to hold. But you don't understand? Sorry. Max Holloway replied during his live stream. He displayed his belts and suggested that Ali Abdelaziz was the one tweeting from the account of Islam Makhachev.
No disrespect to freaking Islam. Everybody thinks I was disrespectful to him. I just was asking a question. Why did he has 2 belts? Just because you're not defending the other one anymore. You know, you was the double champ. But the way I look at it, right? Before he won his 2nd title, he gave up his 1st title to go on for the 2nd title. And Eli already won the title before he even did it. So him having that 2 titles, that's just why I was clear. I was like, why do you have 2 titles? You know, the first fight, when he won it first, understand why. Double champ, get it? But these next fights, why? Why? And then, I ain't even gonna say nothing about him. We know he do not run his mouth on top of social media. We know he doesn't. We know he don't. We know somebody else runs his social media for him. And that's what they replied. Let me say word for word. I don't know, bro. It's even too heavy to hold, but you don't understand. I don't know what he meant by that. The guy who was tweeting for him or Instagramming for him, because I kinda have an idea what it's like. I kinda know how heavy it feels, brother. Just had to, wait, hold on. Let me put these down so you can see them. We can keep going if you like. We can keep going if you like, bro. We can keep going if you guys want to. I can keep going to see how heavy these things are. These things are pretty heavy. I got some more coming. These things, it's heavy as shit. I'm not gonna lie, it's not replicas. You gotta do your homework if you think these are replicas, bro. You got one more too. I don't know how heavy these are. Like, I got hit in his head too many times. I ain't talking about Islam. I'm talking about the guy who's running his IG for him. I kinda know how heavy these are, bro. These bad boys are heavy. Don't tell me I don't know what they feel like. I gotta do his homework on your boy. This shit. He was right about one thing. This shit's heavy. Oh, I can't grab that. Oh my god. Don't ever come for my throat, bro. Don't ever come for my throat, bro. Especially when you're hiding behind another man IG. We all know it wasn't Islam. I got nothing but respect for him. It was just an honest question. The first time I understand why you do it. The second time I was kind of like, I just said it. I saw it. I just said what I said. It is what it is. You guys can be mad at me for saying what I said. I ain't taking it back. That's just how I felt. It is what it is. But don't you ever...
I'm still a very small channel, so if you're enjoying this video, please hit that like and subscribe. It really helps me grow. Let's get back to the news. Dean Thomas owned his mistake after UFC 330. Thomas served as both an analyst and Gillian Robertson's corner for her strawweight title fight against Mackenzie Dern. Robertson lost the bout by decision. Following the fight, Thomas announced his retirement from cornering fighters. He also suggested Robertson might have reached her peak in the sport. These comments sparked backlash, which Thomas acknowledged. On Monday, the UFC's Deep Waters host addressed the controversy, apologizing to Robertson for his behavior.
My last time doing this, I'm not doing this no more. But I took on Jillian. And I have to say, Saturday night was the most inappropriate time for me to bring up the fact that I did not want to corner again. It was completely irresponsible. It was despicable. I shouldn't have done it. I should have waited till maybe even today. I should have waited till a different time than take away her moment. Now, this is a young lady that I've worked with for her entire career. The last 7 years, it's just been me and her working endlessly, just together, traveling,
That's why
working
everybody
together.
back home doesn't see.
Right.
They know.
Yeah. They don't understand it. We've been working endlessly, time and time again together. And I remember her coming to me crying, I just would like to win 2 in a row, 3 in a row. And she went on this amazing run. She's broken records. And I selfishly stole her moment that night. And instead of congratulating her on her run, I stole her moment. And I want to apologize to her for that because I stole her moment. And I was completely wrong. I'm ashamed. I'm embarrassed. But I'm not too big to say I'm sorry. And for her, Jillian, I love you. I got your back. I've always had your back. This is not the end. I've always had your back. And I want you to know that I'm always here for you. I'm always going to support you. And whatever you need, I'm always here for you the same way I've been for you for the last 7 years when it was just...
Israel Adesanya believes Islam Makhachev is currently the world's best fighter. On the Precision podcast with Demetrious Johnson, Adesanya admitted to frequently betting against Makhachev. He explained this tendency is because Makhachev often fights opponents Adesanya likes. Yet, Adesanya firmly regards Makhachev as the planet's top fighter.
Just proved that he's the best out of the bunch. I think I like Usman as well because I like the way he kicks. He's got that taekwondo flow. But when you put it all together, when it comes to mixed martial arts, yeah, Islam's the one. He's the best fighter in the world right now.
Yeah.
Fuck. And again, he keeps fighting guys I like, so I keep picking against him. And I'm like, man.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So he can't keep getting away with this. No. My parlays.
Demetrious Johnson argued Ian Machado Garry lacked the killer instinct to capitalize. This, he believed, ultimately cost Garry the fight.
The instinct, I think it's there, but again, it's just...
I think it's different, dog.
He's only 28.
I'm not gonna lie to you, it's different.
Yeah.
Like, for you have... So your style, you have a killer instinct in you where you will put people in a position where it's like, if you move, motherfucker, I'm gonna clap that ass, right? You look at you versus Paulo Costa. Like, he was like this. He was like, move them, motherfucker, do something. You kicked them, you exchanged.
There's the Fugazi, the acting.
Yeah, you clapped them. You versus Rob Whitaker, clap them. You versus Alex Pierre, you had that instant where you put yourself in the fire and you respond when you're in the fire. Where Ian Garry doesn't put himself in that position. It's almost like a hunter.
He did early on.
He did, or did he not?
A little bit, like some of the ones where he'd stay in the pocket. It cost him against what's his name? Not the Leech, one of the Chinese guys he fought. But yeah, he and also his eyes. He's able to stay there.
Yes.
Like the first thing it did when Islam threw a strike, the first thing he did was 1-2. He came back straight away.
Yep.
So I think he does.
Sean O'Malley outlined his plans following the announcement of the trilogy fight between Peter Yan and Merab Dvalishvili. In a recent video with MMA Guru, O'Malley said, "I plan to sit out until after October 24th to see how Yan V's. Merab 3 plays out and likely fight the winner."
Okay, so I'm sitting out. I'm sitting my happy ass out until October 24th. I'm going to see what happens. Even if Peter Yan loses, who knows? Maybe we get that. Maybe we do maybe I offer him a rematch even if he loses. Probably not. But the division's fun. Song Yadong, Umar Nurmagomedov is coming up. Big fight there. That's actually happening. Yeah, that's not too far away, is it?
In a couple of, I think it might be next weekend.
No.
No, it's 2 weekends from now.
Butt cheeks. 2 weekends.
On the Florian podcast, John Anik and Ray Longo discussed Dean Thomas's comments. Ray Longo considered the situation a bad look for Dean Thomas.
Sometimes it can be difficult to have to criticize our friends and colleagues, but I sort of felt as though, Dean Thomas, retired even mid-fight with Jillian Robertson. There was really no coaching going on between rounds 4 and 5. It was really deflating and disappointing, and I feel really bad for Jillian.
Yeah, I think that's. I think he's going to go back and look at what he did, and he's going to feel bad about it. And I would think he's going to apologize at some point. But
Yes.
that's your girl since you know her since you're 15. You should be hugging her after the fight and consoling her instead of. I think what he did is going to make her feel rotten. I don't get it. A bunch of people sent me the clip. Asked me what I thought about it. Yeah, asked me what I thought about it, but it's kind of hard to defend. I like Dean, but I think he just kind of made it about himself, which is never good. You know what I mean? Like, why would you even have to say that on live TV? You know what I mean? Or whatever it was.
Right.
Save that for next week or a week after. And
Yeah.
that I think was the bad look. I mean, it's your girl. How'd you prepare for the fight? How'd you think you were going to win that fight? Like, talk about the fight. Like, Mackenzie was better here. We thought we could get her there. This is what we trained for. But I'd have to think about it. But it didn't come across. It came across pretty bad, I think, for most people too. Because I'm telling you, out of the whole night, I got more texts and tweets, but more texts about that than anything.
Yeah, I have a lot of opinions.
Kamaru Usman continues to assert he is Islam Makhachev's toughest welterweight opponent. Prior to his loss to Dricus du Plessis, Usman spent months campaigning for a Makhachev title bout. That fight never happened. Usman instead faced Dricus du Plessis. Speaking on his Pound for Pound podcast with Henry Cejudo, Usman recently reiterated his position.
Listen, Henry, I said this. Remember, this was last year I was saying this. Last year I said, guys, I'm looking at, there's some good guys. There's really, really good guys coming up that are going to turn into killers. Good guys. I understand that. But right now, being honest with you, with all the styles that I see in the MMA mathematics, how it works out, I felt that, hey, listen, styles make fights. I'm telling you guys, I can get that done. And everyone's, oh, you don't deserve it. You this, you that. And listen, I get it. I understand. And I took a step back. It is what it is. And I sat on the shelf for a while and then obviously took the chances or whatever. And we don't.
Ian Machado Garry shared behind-the-scenes footage following UFC 330. Backstage, Ian Machado Garry said, "Charles Oliveira helped me realize that losing in MMA ultimately means nothing."
Listen, Charles, losing in this sport means nothing. It means nothing. It's how you come back from it. I might not have won today, but I win every day when I have all you guys by my side. I love you all. I'm so proud of everything we do. You guys have changed my life, opened my eyes. I love you both. There's nothing we did that didn't work today. Just more of it. And Strout, man, I love you. I love you, dude.
I was trying to motivate you, but I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to talk.
We're gonna be back. Ain't no stopping us. You know that, right? I know that. We just got to the top of the mountain and we fell short. Don't stop. We come back, we do it again. We do. Exactly. It's okay. There is no stopping us. Yeah. I love you.
Carlos Prates has challenged Islam Makhachev. He said, "I'm going to knock him out and bring the belt home."
I need a message for Islam Makhachev. I will knock you out, bro. Knock you out, bro. I will bring that belt to Brazil. The first welterweight champ from Brazil.
Daniel Cormier says Islam Makhachev deserves more credit for his historic 17th straight UFC win despite immense pressure.
Either the UFC is
Mark Wahlberg recently shared a memory regarding his time training with Dana White. Wahlberg said, "I actually had Dana White training me for boxing for a while."
Well, when Dana and I were working together on a boxing movie that never happened, Out on My Feet, Dana was my boxing trainer. He was also, not only was he a boxing trainer, he was also managing fighters. And this was before he had gotten involved in the UFC. And we were making this movie. I was playing Vinny Curto. Dana was playing, Robert De Niro was playing Angelo Dundee. And Dana was very excited to see De Niro. And I think he was freaking him out a little bit. And Bob was like, who's this guy? But, Dana's been my guy for a long time.
Armen Tsarukyan remains unconcerned by Islam Makhachev carrying 2 championship belts. Armen Tsarukyan said he never lost his belt.
It's not bothering me. It's just he's double champ. And he was a champion 155. And he never lose, in 155. He's still kind of ex-champion in 155 and current champion in 170.
Sean O'Malley recently offered his assessment of Ian Machado Garry. O'Malley criticized the welterweight's demeanor, suggesting he is overly accommodating toward his peers. O'Malley said, "He's just so friendly. He's trying to be everyone's friend."
Whoa, man.
Usman Nurmagomedov recently appeared on a show hosted by Daniel Cormier. During their discussion, Usman Nurmagomedov addressed the lightweight landscape and his ambitions regarding the division. Usman Nurmagomedov said, "I will prove UFC 155 LB division is filled with bums."
It's time now for legacy. It's time for legacy. You think bumps? Well, come show it. Okay. Come to the UFC and show me their bumps. Okay. Hey, it's time now for legacy. Okay. Hey, Habib say, you have to listen to him. Okay?
Armen Tsarukyan has accused Charles Oliveira of using the death of his teammate, Alan Nascimento, as an excuse to avoid their scheduled bout. Tsarukyan said, he is using his teammate's death as an excuse not to fight.
Fight with Charles, Cormier went 5 rounds. After when I was in the mountains, they called me and said, "We got a new name for you. It's Rufi." I said, "Okay, no problem."
Did they give you a reason why it's not Charles anymore?
Because Charles' friend died and he cannot train. But I don't understand. In 3 days or 4 days, he's doing live trainings and back in the camp and probably they already set it up fight with Diego Lopez. He was just find the excuse, and now he just find the excuse. I don't know if everybody is different. Yeah, it's to lose somebody is so hard. But you could beat me and dedicate this victory to your friend and but you never know.
Ariel Helwani suggests that Islam Makhachev moving to welterweight represents a significant challenge. He argues this move will reveal his true capabilities. This perspective challenges the current narrative regarding his dominance. The move to 170 pounds may expose new vulnerabilities in his game.
Their Armen fight, and yes, we wanted to see the Ilya fight, and I would argue that I probably wanted to see those fights more than any other challenge at 170. But now, him versus Carlos, him versus Michael Morales, him versus Shavkat, maybe a rematch down the line against Ian Garry. Sign me up. I can't wait to see how it all plays out. And so who are they going to go with? They had Carlos there. They had cameras on him. They did the split screen with Michael Morales and Carlos Prates. I feel in my heart of hearts it's going to be Carlos Prates. I feel like that's the move. That's the guy who's been more active. That's the guy who has the higher quality wins. I feel like this is the move. Does anyone disagree with me? What do you think, GC? Prates, Morales?
I think it's definitely not going to be Shavkat. I mean, we just need to see him get back into the cage first. I also think it's going to be Carlos Prates, but I think it should be Michael Morales. I think he poses a bigger threat to Islam Makhachev. The difficulties that he gave Sean Brady, obviously stuffing the takedowns and then knocking him out, the power that he has, the size, the range, the superstar factor that he could potentially grow into with a win. 19-0. He's got the look. I think it should be him. Carlos Prates also lost to the guy that lost to Islam Makhachev on Saturday. Let's not forget. I know he has wins since then, but he did get dominated for the first Morales.
Rick?
It should be Michael Morales.
Really?
I said it should have been Michael instead of Ian. You should be giving your champion, the toughest challenges. And by the way, Islam Makhachev is the guy whose shoulders can handle that load. Is the guy who can face the toughest challenges, as we just saw in a drastically outsized fight with Ian Garry. He is able to overcome and overcome those challenges. I want to see what it looks like when a guy who's a middleweight going on light heavyweight steps in there against Islam Makhachev. That is what I want. And I think he will be the toughest test that Islam has to face in his career because of the size disparity, because of what Michael Morales brings to the table physically. Ian Machado Garry brought some very interesting things to the table because of his size. I want to see what happens when you combine that size with the type of power that Michael Morales has, because the levels between Michael Morales' power and Ian Machado Garry's power are very, very different. Now, I want to see what happens when that size is in play, but now you have that finishing capability that he has, that all of a sudden, if Islam's not able to get him down, what happens when he has to stand 6 feet away from him and is still getting hit?
On his career.
No, I'm
just 7-0 UFC,
100%,
19-0 overall. The good news is both of them have insane knockout power. Carlos Prates might be the hardest hitting 170er. I mean, he literally ethers everyone. Michael Morales.
Carlos Prates and Michael Morales possess significant knockout power, with Prates emerging as a formidable striker in the 170-pound division. This power presents a legitimate challenge for Islam Makhachev. The discussion surrounding these two fighters centers on their destructive potential and the prospect of them competing against one another.
Whoever is next, I think.
Well, I saw a lot of
will
people.
Be after that.
So it's interesting you say that, because I remember saying not that long ago, why can't we have Carlos versus Michael? Why can't we figure this out? Because the resumes are so equal, because they actually both have very strong cases. They are like, let's go through some of these clips right here. Here they are talking to each other right after the fight. I think this was, let me get this, in the arena. They're in the arena immediately after the fight, going back and forth. That whole fracas. Outside, they give us more things to chew on. Take a look.
First, Makhachev.
Who is this hype man?
I don't know.
Makhachev is gonna think of you, bro. He's no. I know you, bro.
Prates was sporting an I'm Next t-shirt, by the way, so he's trying to put the message out. And earlier in the week, he was seen with Hunter Campbell. His manager, Lucas, was seen with Hunter Campbell as well. Insinuates things in the timeline and whatnot. Ultimately, it does come down to the UFC. In fact, we were actually supposed to have Carlos on today's show, but you may have seen online that he had a bit of a nightmare, a mare, as they say, at the airport. His flight got canceled. He just so happened to be on the same flight as both Justin Gaethje, the lightweight champion, and Team Islam. Here they are.
And Gaethje over there, I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't fly in the same airlines. I don't know.
Here's the one thing I know for sure. The UFC likes to book, in these situations, Strickland Khamzat. I think we could all agree on that. I think we could all agree Prates is a little bit more popular than Morales right now. And so that's why I ultimately think they'll go with Prates. Prates has the following. He's sort of a cult-like figure. If you had to weigh the two, not the resume.
Strikers. And they're only good if they're fighting in their wheelhouse. And as we've seen, although it was scuppered in some of the rounds against Garry, he can take these guys down for 5 rounds. He did it against Jack Della Maddalena. Prates and Morales, despite Morales' judo background and despite the evidence that we've seen in Prates' last few fights in terms of his takedown defense, it's just different gravy when it's Islam. And I think he'll be rubbing his hands together facing two primarily strikers, even though there is quite a significant size difference, especially with Morales.
Questions, and in the immediate aftermath, it seemed as though he was at peace with it all. Let's see how he feels maybe a week. I kept thinking about those videos of him going crazy, wanting that title shot, dying for the title shot, praying for the title shot, trying to will it into existence. Carlos's last 3 wins: Jack Della TKO, Leon KO, Jeff Neal KO, and then the loss to Ian is in the 4th fight.
Sorry, I said 2 ago, 3 ago. My mistake.
No, and I'm just trying to compare. The Brady TKO was supremely impressive. The Gilbert Burns TKO was impressive as well. Obviously a little bit, back end. Neil Magny TKO is very impressive. The guy just never dies. He looked great on Saturday, once again coming back. Jake Matthews' decision.
Examining this key moment, Carlos's last 3 wins: Jack Della TKO, Leon KO, Joff Neal KO, and then the last 2, Ian is in the 4th fight.
Actually, both have very strong cases. Why can't we see them fight each other to then figure out, you know, there used to be a thing called a number one contender fight, like a true number one contender fight to determine who is the guy rather than the jockeying of position, right? And a lot of people were saying, no, that's crazy. Why would you kill off a contender? Well, that's the whole point. Like, you want to see who the rightful guy is. Well, they were giving us some fodder to see who the rightful guy is. Well, they were giving us some fodder over the weekend, especially on Saturday, a few times where it's like, yeah, could we figure this out? Can we see this now? Could we see who the better man is? Here they are. Like, let's go through some of these clips right here. Here they are talking to each other. His manager, Lucas, was seen with Hunter Campbell as well, insinuating that big things are being discussed, that he's next. It's all good. It's all well and good that they're able to talk it out and plan these things and the timeline and whatnot. Ultimately, it does come down to the UFC. You had to weigh the two, not the resumes, just their following and influence in the sport. Prates probably wins. I haven't looked at their IGs, so I don't know if one has more than the other. I think they'll go with Prates, right?
Prates has like 2.1.
Fights are amazing. I just hope if they go with Prates, and now we're talking December, January, like Morales is going to be out for over a year by the time that happens, and then he has to wait for the next one.
Why is he
gonna
out?
keep him cooking.
Just fight somebody.
They're going to keep him cooking. They're going to fight Ian.
Michael Morales can fight. Whoever doesn't get the opportunity,
you think they'll do Morales versus Ian? Because historically, they don't like to do that, because then what if Ian wins? Now you've killed off the guy who should be next, and you're putting in position a guy who you don't want to be next,
He just went to... I know the scorecard said 49-46. He went to a one-round difference fight with Islam Makhachev. Like, Ian's going to be around for a while.
What if Shavkat came back?
By the way...
Anthony Smith has pleaded not guilty to 4 felony charges. The 38-year-old entered his plea Monday via written arraignment. Court records from Sarpy County, Nebraska, show Smith initially faced 3 felony charges, 1 count of domestic threats and 2 counts of false imprisonment. Prosecutors later added a charge of attempted commission of a Class 1, 1A, 1 billion, 1C, 1D felony. This charge indicates an alleged attempt to commit a very serious felony offense. The county attorney's office accuses Smith of threatening Ankalaev's wife if she refused to return home with him. This allegedly followed an altercation at a bar in Gretna, Nebraska. Prosecutors allege Smith then grabbed her and pushed her into a vehicle. After she escaped from the vehicle during the drive, Smith reportedly attempted to strike her with the vehicle multiple times. Investigators concluded she avoided being hit and escaped without physical injury. A warrant was issued, and Smith later turned himself in. He is currently free on $45,000 bail. KTV Omaha reports Smith has permission to travel outside the country. This is for a professional sporting event, likely Gamebred MMA, in the Dominican Republic in late September or early October. A status hearing is scheduled for September 21st, where Smith is ordered to appear in person. Mackenzie, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you never miss the latest MMA news. And I'll see you in the next video.